Hi again. A.T. Robertson in the Divinity of Christ in the Gospel of John, page 51, in the chapter Manifestation of the Messiah. This is on chapter 2, the first display of power. In the prologue, John, in broad outline, presents his conception of the eternal Son of God entering humanity as the capital E expression of God to reveal the Father to men. Then follows the witness of the Baptist to the fact that Jesus is the Son of God. Next comes the discovery of the first band of believers that Jesus is the Messiah, the Son of God, as shown by the words of Andrew, Philip, and Nathanael, and Christ's own claim about himself. It is objected by some modern critics that John's Gospel is unhistorical in this presentation of the claims of Jesus, since according to the Synoptic Gospels, Jesus conceals the fact that he is the Messiah, the Son of God, till the latter part of his ministry, and even then warns the disciples not to tell what they have found out. But on closer examination of the Synoptic Gospels, one notes that they give also the early presentation of Jesus as the Messiah, the Son of God. It is seen in the words of the Father at the baptism of Jesus. That would be Matthew 3 and Mark 1 and Luke 3. And in the temptation of Christ in Matthew 4 and Luke 4. And in various other ways, as in the exclamation of the healed demoniacs and the growing appreciation of the disciples and the people. It is, besides, perfectly natural that in the first year of the public ministry, which the synoptics omit, save the baptism and temptation, when he's recognized as Messiah, there should be acknowledgement of Jesus as Messiah in the first glow of enthusiasm, till it was seen that the Pharisees were jealous and hostile, when caution made it wise to omit the term Messiah, so as to avoid the technical charge of blasphemy. Indeed, the Gospel of John itself, which gives the early claims and descriptions of Messiahship, shows most clearly of all the avoidance of the term Messiah on the part of Jesus in this later ministry, and that would be John chapters 8 through 10. Here, then, this Gospel, supplementing the Synoptics in the early ministry, gives the touch of life which is needed to fill out the story. Now comes the first display of power on the part of Jesus, already hailed as Messiah and Son of God, to show that he acts like God. The devil had suggested that Jesus turn the stone into bread to prove that he is a Son of God. But Jesus needed no such proof. He had known this mystery for long. How long, we do not know, for he has had clear messianic consciousness of this peculiar sonship since he was 12 years old, according to Luke 2:51. The mother of Jesus does not need the miracle to convince her of the nature and mission of her wondrous son. She had carried his secret in her heart all these years, according to Luke 2:19. But the little band of disciples, probably 6 in all, did need confirmation of their new faith in Jesus as the Messiah of Israel. It was all so new and strange to them. The protest of Jesus to his mother was not an outburst of impatience with her. He's talking here about the wedding in Cana, but a declaration of independence on his part, for his messianic activity lay outside of her control. He had gladly been subject to her and to Joseph, but now he must follow the path that his heavenly Father showed in his great task. The language of Jesus probably means, what does it matter to you and me? It is like our never mind. But Mary had a woman's and a mother's instincts, and saw beneath the form of the words, and bade the servants to follow the directions of Jesus. It's useless to quibble over the miracle of turning the water into wine, this first miracle wrought by Jesus, and a nature miracle at that. If we have come thus far in John's Gospel with any kind of sympathy and assent, we can easily go the whole way. I am assuming that the readers of my book have made up their minds about God and Christ and the world. I'm not advocating obscurantism in any sphere, but just the opposite. I may say frankly that I am not antagonistic to evolution as a process used by God in the creation of the universe. I am not sure that the evolutionary hypothesis has been proved, but I do not object in the least if it should be. I have no fear that science will again become materialistic as it once threatened to do. It is nothing like so negative and agnostic as it once was. Now he's writing this around the time of World War I. Modern scientists, barring Haeckel, are becoming decidedly spiritualistic in outlook and open advocates of the supremacy of mind over matter. If we really believe that, there is little to bother over further save questions of fact. If God created and is creating, why trouble about the present activity of God? If Jesus is God, why deny to him the power of God? What we call a nature miracle differs no whit from any other, save that we are far more familiar with the impact of mind on mind, though we recognize clearly the power of mind over matter in our own bodies. The Gospel of John represents Jesus as justifying his miraculous power on the score of the continuous activity of his Father. He's referring here to John 5:17. Christ says, "My Father has kept working till now." The notion of an absentee God who cannot touch the work of his own hands with his own will for fear of upsetting his own laws is puerile. We are not to think of God as whimsical, but as personal and as supreme in every realm, supreme even over the laws of nature, which are simply the orderly expression of his own will. These laws are meant for our protection and blessing, and they are so. But it is unscientific and unhistorical to say that God cannot do this or that unless the thing contradicts his own nature. For instance, God cannot lie. The first miracle of power over inanimate nature at Cana of Galilee manifested his glory, as it was meant to do. It served immediate need, to be sure, but it made plain the glory of Jesus as the Son of God in accordance with his claims and the faith of the disciples who believed on him afresh and more deeply because of this surprising display of creative activity. Faith was helped by sight. Notice he doesn't say faith was created by sight. Faith was helped by sight. Next time, the first clash with the Jerusalem authorities. That is the second half of John chapter 2. I put in a link to 4 videos we did, the first of which is linked on your screen. Why Jesus? 10 objections to the Christian faith.